It is a sea of black and gold. The drought is over. Postseason baseball returning to Pittsburgh for the first time since 1992. Tonight's MLB Wild Card is presented by Budweiser. Standing room only crowd at PNC Park for the National League Wild Card game between the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Man alive, what a scene. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. This is Ron Darling. This is Cal Ripken. I mean to tell you, it's been worth the wait for these guys. And if you're the home team, if you're the Pirates playing with so much emotion tonight, what's it going to be like, Cal?
Well, there's definitely going to be a boost of adrenaline and a surge of energy. But I also thought there was a nice healing effect because all those bumps and bruises and those aches and pains at the end of the season are all of a sudden miraculously gone. But there's also a Superman feeling, and that's what I'm concerned about, that they'll start to play outside their means and try to do too much. So the challenge is for them to actually take all this energy that we can feel right now, use it, but still stay in control.
The regular season ended with these teams playing a 3-game set in Cincinnati. Had the Reds won 2 out of 3, they'd be hosting this game tonight. The Pirates swept them. They get the home field. What are the Reds walking into tonight?
Well, you can tell by this crowd that it's going to be an uphill battle, but it is redemption time for the Reds. They've waited 1 year since losing 3 straight games to the San Francisco Giants, the eventual World Series champion. And if they're going to get back to that division series and find some redemption, it's got to come through Pittsburgh and these fans tonight.
They met 19 times in the regular season. Pirates winning 11 times. Meeting number 20 determines if you start the road to possibly the World Series or if the road has come to an end. It's the first pitch coming up next from Pittsburgh here on TBS. You could not ask for a better night for baseball here in Pittsburgh. Temperature 69 degrees and the skies are clear. And what a night we have in store here in the National League Wild Card game. Tonight's batting order brought to you by Budweiser. Shin-Soo Choo will lead it off, and Ryan Ludwig. Joey Votto played in all 162 games this year, coming off knee surgery. And Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce, Todd Frazier at third, Zach Cozart the shortstop, Ryan Hannigan behind the plate, and Johnny Cueto gets the start for Cincinnati, and they will face Francisco Liriano. Ron?
Well, Dusty Baker was talking about Liriano before the game. He said that the Reds have to not swing at the dirt ball. What's the dirt ball? It's the slider, and good changeup to Liriano that appears to be a strike and ends up outside of the strike zone.
Liriano comes in 16-8. ERA just a tick over 3 in 26 starts. And in this ballpark, 8-1 with an ERA of 1.47. That lone loss coming against the team he faces tonight, the Cincinnati Reds. And here's Shin-Soo Choo to lead it off for Cincinnati. We are underway. Low 1-0. Choo with 21 home runs and 54 runs batted in out of the leadoff spot. There's a strike, 1-1. Only Coco Crisp has more home runs out of the leadoff spot in the majors this year. Liriano delivers the 1-1. Healthy cut by Choo. And it's 1-2.
There's that invisible slider that Dustin was talking about. That didn't go down in the dirt. That just disappeared under the bat. About 89 miles an hour.
Just the kind of start they were hoping for here in Pittsburgh.
Well, he went right back to it. Russell Martin called it for Liriano and hits the bottom of the strike zone, like you said, Cal, underneath the bat of Choo.
Well, here's Ryan Ludwig. Ludwig, a key piece of this Reds team a year ago, and then got hurt on opening day this year on a headfirst slide against the Angels and missed a big chunk of the season. So he only has 2 home runs and 12 RBIs.
So he's got a fastball in the mid-90s, a changeup and a slider right around 87 to 89 miles an hour.
Well, Dusty was talking about National League. American League guys are used to pitching backwards, but the National League guys aren't so much. That means throwing off-speed pitches when you're behind in the count and throwing fastballs when you're ahead in the count.
He fooled Ludwig again there. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
But that's a hard changeup, though, you know? Normally there's about 10 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour difference between the fastball and the changeup. That's a deception. But that ball just goes down right at the end.
On the ground toward short. Barmes on the run, throws him out. 2 up and 2 down. Here's a look at our Chevrolet pitch tracks.
Well, the pitch tracks, the good thing about it, it lets us know where, honestly, Joe West, the home plate umpire's strike zone is going to be. He has not called a couple of pitches that have been low in the strike zone. He's more of a high ball umpire.
Here's Joey Votto. On the ground to first, that's a fair ball. Morneau with the flip to Liriano. A 1-2-3 first as we head to the bottom half in Pittsburgh. We head to the bottom half of the first here in Pittsburgh. Tonight's batting order brought to you by Budweiser. Starling Marte leads it off. Neil Walker, local product, hits second. Andrew McCutchen, the MVP candidate, third. Morneau in the cleanup spot. Then it's Marlon Byrd in his first postseason action. Pedro Alvarez, who tied for the National League lead in homers, plays third. Then it's Russell Martin, Clint Barmes, and Francisco Liriano. Johnny Cueto is on the mound for Cincinnati.
Well, Johnny Cueto has pitched outstanding against the Pirates this year. Only 1 run given up in 12 1/3 innings pitched, but he's been hurt for most of the year.
Gives you a little taste of Louis Tiant in the delivery. Shows you his number 47. And delivers inside to Marte.
Because of that motion, or some people believe, he's had 3 different stints on the disabled list where we pulled oblique. That has been his problem this year.
When he's been healthy, he's been spot on. Bunt laid down by Marte. Cueto gets him. Nice play. 1 down.
Dusty Baker was talking about Johnny Cueto before the game. He said, when I got him, he couldn't hit, he couldn't bunt, he couldn't field, he could barely run. But he said he's turned himself into a pretty good athlete out there, and that's a fine play.
I was going to say he looked more like a middle infielder making that play. Backhanded it, planted himself, and made a strong throw to first base.
You see the numbers in this ballpark. 8-2, ERA under 2. And Neil Walker steps in from Gibsonia, Pennsylvania, about 16 miles from here. Great high school athlete. Signed by the Pirates in the first round of the 2004 draft, the number 11 pick overall. And he's got some pop. 16 home runs, 53 runs batted in for the Pirates second baseman. Down even at a ball and a strike.
Johnny Cueto last season, 19 wins, finished 4th in the Cy Young Award voting. And Dusty Baker told us he's our number 1. That's why he's out here.
Walker goes the other way. Ludwig back. 2 down.
The assortment for the pitches from Johnny Cueto. Fastball, you can see what percentage of time he uses it. Breaking ball, but it's his changeup really that he learned from the great Mario Soto, one of the great red right-handers of all time. The changeup is the big difference maker, especially against the left-handed hitters.
I think what he does really well is he commands low in the strike zone. He has a sneaky fastball, but that's supported by that changeup. And then he mixes in some breaking balls as well. He'll show you and establish all his pitches really early, including the brushback pitch.
They have had 28 hit by pitch in the 19 games they played this year.
It's hard not to think there's some meaning behind that, you know? Maybe I'm just a little sensitive because I was a hitter.
No, I don't think you are. 28 is a strange number. You can see if it's a 10 or 11 or 12, but 28 means that there's been some answers to their own hitters getting hit.
McCutcheon's been plunked 4 times, Marte 5, Chu on the Cincinnati side 7 times in those 19 games. 2-0 is upstairs. 3 balls and no strikes to the Pirates' number 3 hitter. And you heard the MVP chants, .317 average, number 7 in the National League, 21 homers, 84 runs batted in, number 3 in hits in the National League at 185. And he stole 27 bags. Fouled off. Had the green light, 3-1.
Got a good pitch to hit too. Looked like a little cutter maybe from Cueto. Hurdle been pushing all the right buttons this year for the Pirates.
He is the eternal optimist in what had become a very pessimistic baseball town. Just the right tonic. Caught the corner, count full, 3-2.
This is that little slider we were talking about. MVPs get sliders on 3-1 counts.
Well, McCutcheon got that to himself. He missed the 3-0 pitch. Took such a great hack. He said, Johnny said, there's no way I'm throwing that again.
Tried to check his swing, and he did. That's Dale Scott, the first base umpire, says he did not go. And there's the first base runner of the game. Ooh. So here, there were only 2 games this year between the two when somebody didn't get hit. I guess everybody's aim was off.
There's a lot of these pitches that are hitting the numbers, Cal. That usually means a purpose.
I would imagine there's a few retaliations in there, and the one that hit Andrew right in the middle of the back on the 22 was definitely retaliation. And many times the meat of the order will get that retaliation because they think it sends the biggest message.
McCutcheon leads from first. Justin Morneau takes a strike, 0-1.
I thought this was a great pickup by Pittsburgh. He found his power stroke, I think, in the month of August, but he hasn't found it since he's been here with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Now, no home runs, 3 RBIs. He is the cleanup hitter for Pittsburgh. 17 home runs on the year with 77 runs batted in. To right, and Jay Bruce right there to retire the side. We've played 1 in the NL wildcard game on TBS.
Welcome back to PNC Park. It's the top of the 2nd inning. Leading off, Brandon Phillips, the second baseman for Cincinnati, back in the lineup after fouling off that pitch Saturday afternoon. And his ankle immediately in knot formed. He thought he had broken a bone, but x-rays were negative. He's been receiving treatment. He has a plate on his ankle tonight for added protection. I asked if it was going to hamper him either at the plate or in the field. He goes, no siree. Just like another 2-time All-Star in Atlanta. He was recruited to play football and baseball at Georgia. He said, listen, this is my time. This is prime time. I'm ready to go, PJ.
Sounds just like that dude, as he's known in Cincinnati. Grounded up the middle. Had him played perfectly. And Walker threw him out. Well, I'm telling you, that thing looked ugly the other day when he fouled that ball off his left shin. Immediately lots of swelling. Phillips had said couldn't even feel his toes at that point, but the x-ray's negative and he is in there as you would expect tonight.
I couldn't tell if he had a shin guard, and sometimes you'll hide that under your pants leg so you don't feel like you're not that manly. But I guarantee he should have one.
Yeah.
Right above that spot. That looked nasty.
Well, he looks like he's limping a little bit still, so not 100%, but no one's 100% at this time of the year.
And here it is on Saturday afternoon. Looks like your garden variety until you see that.
Wow.
Jay Bruce, Pirates in a shift. And he waves at it, a ball and a strike. Bruce with 30 home runs and 109 RBIs on the year. Number 3 in home runs, tied for second with the Braves' Freddie Freeman in the RBI department behind Paul Goldschmidt. Liriano with a 1-1. And he's dialed in. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Coming into this game, Francisco Liriano had held Chu, Votto, and Bruce to a 3-for-33 clip. All 3 of them singles. So left-handed pitching against this talented left-handed hitters of the Reds. Liriano's had the best so far.
There is strikeout number 2 for the Pirates left-hander. Came into this game, lefties hitting 131 against him with no home runs, 17 for 130.
I think you can almost tell them that it's coming, and they still can't hit it. He's getting it. It's a late break. It disappears down and away from the left-hander. This is a nasty pitch.
Now here's Todd Frazier. One guy who has been able to touch up Liriano a bit. 3 out of 9 with 2 home runs against him. He's got 19 long balls on the year, knocked in 73.
We've seen about 5 or 6 in a row, haven't we? So when it's that good, there's a tendency to want to throw it lefty or righty.
When people talk about Liriano, they say he's amazing. He's a guy who throws 95, but very rarely throws his fastball.
Shattered his bat. That ball will be fouled on the left side.
Well, he's got a very simple motion. Hands over the head. Just raises that leg a little bit, but you can see that whip and torque at the very end. That's where he gets his power. Also provides the deception when he takes a little off.
It feels like he's jumping at you a little bit as a hitter, and that makes you want to go get it.
Frazier's got a new bat, digging in, and ready for another 0-2 pitch.
He gave him a fastball up on this one. There's the 95.
One of Cal's favorite. Give me the flames on the bug.
95. But that looks like it's just a show me. He'll probably go right back to the breaking ball.
Frazier stays alive. One of his fondest baseball memories coming in the state of Pennsylvania. Todd Frazier was a member of that Toms River, New Jersey Little League team that won the Little League World Series in Williamsport in '98. Beat Japan in the final. He went 4 for 4 with a home run. The 1-2 was reached out up the middle. Barnes down by a step. 6 up, 6 down. MLB Network is your home for 2 Division Series games. Friday, see the winner of this wild card game take on the Cardinals in the NLDS Game 2 Friday at 1 Eastern, 12 Central exclusively on MLB Network. Bottom half of the second inning, you talk about the long wait the Pirate fans have had for postseason baseball. Marlon Byrd's had a long wait himself. 1,250 games he's played, and he's been around Phillies, Nats, Rangers, Cubs, Red Sox, Mets, and here with the Pirates, dealt to Pittsburgh in August, his first taste of the postseason.
Well, if you wanted to pick a guy to face in his first postseason game, you couldn't have any better than Johnny Cueto. He's 7 for 12 off Johnny with a home run.
That's a 583 clip. Played 30 games with the Pirates. Hit .318, 3 home runs, 17 runs batted in, and for the season, 24 home runs and 88 runs batted in. They got him from the Mets, along with John Buck. Neil Huntington pushing a lot of right buttons this season for this franchise. Well hit to left. Deep and gone. First postseason at bat. And Marlon Byrd has put the Pirates on top.
Bucko Blast, his first of the playoffs.
Looks like a hanging changeup. Started with a fastball, went away with a breaking ball, and then threw him a changeup, and he was all over this one.
I'd have to say that was worth the wait.
Couldn't be a more fitting way to get the first run on the board for the Pirates, whose fans have waited and Byrd has waited. And this joint is jumping 1-0. Here's Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez tied with Goldschmidt for the National League lead in home runs with 36. And even 100 runs batted in. And as Clint Hurdle says, he can shrink a lot of ballparks.
It's really interesting when somebody has a really good changeup, like he does. It's way more effective against the left-hander because it goes away from him and dies away, but not nearly as effective when it comes into a right-hander.
It's almost like he started it on the outside corner and it drifted right onto the best part of the bat for Byrd.
One-two from Cueto. That ball's hit on the button to straightaway center field, but Chu is right there on the track to put it away. Another look at Marlon Byrd.
Big leg kick. Beats that ball out front. Tremendous power and always has been a good breaking ball hitter.
You got to get back, and I was fascinated by the slowness of his moving backwards, and then I realized we were in super slow-mo.
Anytime you see that total motion thing on the screen, be aware. Here's Russell Martin.
Well, not a lot of experience for these Pittsburgh players in the postseason, but Russell Martin has experience, and he's been one of the big reasons that this pitching staff had the year they had. Brought experience and game calling excellence to the Pirates.
And don't forget all the guys he throws out at second base.
Yeah. And basically anything offensively is gravy. I mean, he went deep 15 times, knocked in 55 runs, hit .226. What a great guy to have behind the plate with his pitching staff. Well, this standing room only crowd trying to get under Johnny Cueto's skin, and they might be. That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track, and that ball is gone. Russell Martin, 2-0 Pittsburgh.
Well, I know playing on the road can rally you sometimes, but this is ridiculous, guy.
Nice little leg kick. Nice little extension. Almost looks like Bird's home run, but hit to left center field. He got a good chunk of that one. No chance.
I haven't heard a chant like this, Ernie, since Darryl in Fenway Park in the 80s.
Martin had barely touched home plate when Brian Price was on his way to the mound for a conversation with Johnny Cueto. He's given up 2 bombs here in the second. Here's Clint Barmes. I think I just saw someone sit down. Boy, the lead up to this game in this city, staggering. Tried to paint and missed.
When Johnny Cueto's right, he is hitting that low fastball. Tonight his fastball is up a little bit. Looks like he's trying to find his breaking ball or his secondary pitch until he finds that low fastball.
2-1 to Barmes. Had a good cut. Straight back, 2-2.
Splitting the middle of the plate right down the middle in a hitter's area. Yeah. He normally is much more down towards the knees.
Well, we talked in the open how it's going to be an uphill battle for these Reds. Playing in this ballpark, playing against this talented Pittsburgh team that is a great front runner. 77-11 when they lead by 2 runs.
The 2-2 to right center, and Chu makes the sliding play.
Here comes just a dead red fastball. What I said, a little up in the strike zone. Russell Martin has a nice full swing on that. No doubt about it.
He's so pumped up, Martin can't even sit down.
That's the energy I was talking about in the open. You still got to control it. You still got to execute when you're in the batter's box.
Here's the pitcher, Liriano. This matchup tonight, 2 pitchers from the Dominican Republic who both wear number 47. Liriano fouled off and out of play. And in our pregame show, I hope you heard Tom Verducci talking about Generation Pedro, because Pedro Martinez, Bartolo Colon, the last matchup, pitchers from the Dominican. Liriano's just 3 for 47 this season. And here comes the 0-2. Look at this base hit up the middle. Three hits allowed in the inning by Cueto. 2 have left the yard. And that 2-out single by Liriano brings Starling Marte in the top of the order to the plate.
You'd have to help me understand why when he threw a running away fastball, fouled it off weakly the other way, then he comes back with a medium speed breaking ball to allow the bat head to get out front on that.
Didn't mean to. Into right field, base hit. Runners at first and second.
What do you mean he didn't mean to? That's exactly what he was trying to do.
Marte with a check swing single into right.
Again, like you said, Caldo, the pitch is upstairs. Excuse me swing for a single from Marte.
The best feeling is when you have an excuse me swing and it's accidentally hit a line drive to right. And the worst feeling is when you check swing it right back to the pitcher with the bases loaded and you turn it into a double play.
Brian Price had the cup deck telephone. They could not hear him in the bullpen, who he wanted to get up and get ready.
40,000 plus chanting Cueto as one.
Now I know what 21 years of frustration dressed in black looks like.
Here's Neil Walker. Lined out to left his first time. Nowhere near 1-0. Walker was 7 years old in 1992 when Sid Bream slid across with a winning run in Atlanta in the last playoff game the Pirates played. And his brothers used to kid him about crying so much after that happened. Little blooper over there near the railing, and Frazier, did he hold on to this?
What a catch. What a catch.
There's the signal. He did make the catch. Rob Drake made the call. Frazier made the catch. What an inning for the Pirates as they score twice. Look at Frazier by the railing and makes the play for the third out. But it's 2-0 Pittsburgh. Johnny Cueto gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, 2 solo home runs. Dusty Baker in his ear.
I can count on one hand when a manager talks to you in between innings.
You can get exclusive behind-the-scenes access and expert opinions from the biggest names in sports by checking out Behind the Mic, powered by Ford, on BleacherReport.com/Behind the Mic.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was just a pep talk, kind of say keep him right there, or he was actually making some suggestions about pitch selection.
Top of the third, Liriano working with a 2-0 lead, and talk about shutdown innings a lot, Ron. This is a big one.
I was just thinking this might be the most important 0 he'll try to put up in his career.
And there's that high strike again that you mentioned earlier.
Cozart is 2 for 10 in his career against Liriano. One of those a home run. On the ground to short. Farmas again on the run, makes the play. Here's the way the last inning ended, in the reach by Todd Frazier. Great photo opportunity, but the cameras are pointed the wrong way. Here's Ryan Hannigan. Hannigan played in 75 games this year. Was on the DL a couple of times, and he's the guy who caught both of Homer Bailey's no-hitters.
You have to assume he's putting down the right fingers that day.
On the ground to Alvarez, who charges and throws him out.
With 6 outs on the ground by the Cincinnati Reds. They cannot elevate the pitches of Francisco Liriano.
Marte, McCutchen, and Bird, innocent bystanders at this point. Nothing in the outfield. I think you can hear who's up.
You know, I ask both managers because I'm always curious how they think about baseball before the game, especially in this type of game. You know, what situation would it take to actually remove the pitcher early? Would it be down 3 runs, down 4 runs, bases loaded? Clearly Dusty is putting confidence in Johnny Cueto right now, saying we can score 2 runs.
Slaps it to first. Easy play for Morneau. And an easy inning for Liriano. Again, 1-2-3. Want to know the secrets of being a home run hitter? Tim Ferriss shows you how you can knock it out of the park. Go to upwave.com/baseball. Bottom half of the third inning here at PNC Park in the National League wild card game. The Pirates playing long ball in the second. Solo home runs by Marlon Byrd and Russell Martin. And here is Andrew McCutchen to lead off the bottom of the third.
Well, it's interesting right now. pitching right from the stretch, right from the start. No windup for Cueto. Trying to simplify things so he can find his control.
Broken bat past Cueto. Phillips throws wide of first. McCutchen's on to lead off the third.
The jam job that gets past the pitcher, and that's going to be a tough play for either of the middle infielders, but Phillips makes this play, but I tell you what, McCutchen put a little extra pressure on because he runs so well to first base.
You know, the reason that Cueto is such a good pitcher is that he retires the leadoff hitter 87% of the time. 2 of the 3 innings now, he has not. A little lucky there, though, for McCutchen.
If anybody's going to make that play, it's going to be Brandon Phillips. Talking to Joe Morgan yesterday here and talking about Phillips, he says he admires the creativity that he shows on a nightly basis at second.
And I think he would have made that play for a lesser runner to first base. When the pressure actually puts on, he knows he has to hurry it a little bit more, which threw the throw a little bit up the line.
Joe was such a good fielder, he didn't even need a regular sized glove.
Absolutely right.
Did you ever try to put Joe's glove on?
No, can't fit.
That's a small glove.
Throw over and McCutchen back.
What it told me, he had a whole lot better legs where he could cover ground because he couldn't have that reach. He had to get over and get in front of it or get close to it.
Morneau waiting on Cueto. No balls and 2 strikes.
Still up in the strike zone, but I think that one was by design. Morneau's a good low ball hitter. Showed it the first time up. I think he's intentionally going up to try to get him to chase it out of the strike zone. It's a throw over.
Hook 'em horns in baseball means a throw over.
Yeah, that hasn't changed in the 12 or 13 years since I was last out there looking at catcher signs. Horn 1, horn 2, horn 3. All mean something slightly different.
No balls, 2 strikes to Morneau. That's the way he prefers to hear his name pronounced. For years and years we said Justin Morneau. Prefers Morneau. Remember, he was having some great years in Minnesota. Then he got the concussion. Knee in the head by John McDonald, breaking up a double play. Missed the postseason that year.
It's been a long way back, but he started to look like the Justin Morneau.
Very well done, Cal. Another throw over.
Of old in August, he was swinging the bat, hitting home runs. I think he hit 8 or 9 in that month.
You know, Clint Hurdle was talking about, it's not only Marlon Byrd and his number of games before playing in the postseason. Justin Morneau, because of those injuries, has not had a lot of experience. So he's older, but he's also hungry.
He looks focused, too, right now.
Ball and 2 strikes.
I think that was the hardest pitch we saw, 94 miles an hour. Reached back for a little extra.
Dusty Baker said the one thing he loves about Johnny Cueto, he doesn't get flustered. Well, he's going to have to prove Dusty right.
And that he knows how to get outs when he needs a strikeout, when he needs a ground ball. A little looper over third, but great play by Frazier, who throws back, and McCutchen just does beat the ref. Boy, Frazier's made a couple of great plays here in the early going.
That's just good athleticism, a good read. The hardest ball for a middle infielder or an infielder in this case, he's playing a little deeper, is that little ball. You don't know how hard it's hit. He read it well, got back and caught it, and darn near turned it into a double play.
Again, the speed of McCutchen paying off.
That catch in the stands might turn out to be a really big play because that ended an inning where it felt like a little momentum was being built.
Had 2 runners on at the time and 2 already in. Here's Marlon Byrd, who celebrated his first postseason game after 1,250 regular season games with a second inning home run.
That's the cat and mouse game that I like. After you hit a home run on a changeup, and here it comes right here. It's a changeup that hangs over the middle of the plate. What's he going to do next time up? Now, the answer, what I would think is, okay, he's going to come in with the fastball. He came in with the fastball. Marlon had to go get a new bat. He obviously wasn't looking in there. Wants to go back in there, change it to a breaking ball. I think 2 means fastball away because I don't think he has a hook.
Yeah, you got it right. That's more of his 4-seam fastball. So 2 means 4.
Fastball back in.
Well hit. Off the glove of Cozart. Look, McCutchen with all its great wheels easily makes it into third. They're on the corners with 1 out. A bullet at Cozart.
Looks like he made the adjustment. He looked back in there and got that little 2-seamer that ran in there and hit it hard. Too hard to handle. In between hop, it just eats him up. That's a base hit all the way. And McCutchen does turn on the Jets.
You been there, Cal?
A few hundred times. And that hurts too. You don't want to rub it, but that's right off the wrist.
Dusty Baker on his way to the mound. A 2-0 game with runners on the corners. 1 out in the third. Alfredo Simon has just gotten up. They scored that shot by Byrd, an E6.
That's a tough error.
Tell me about it.
Hit on the nose, top spin.
Pedro Alvarez steps in. 36 home runs to tie for the National League lead. Well, Johnny Cueto's got to be happy to hear that. Something other than Cueto. So let's go, Pedro.
I'm not sure what's happening there. Any theories?
Joe Lester talking to Alvarez had no idea what he was talking about.
1 ball, no strikes. In the air to center. Shue makes the catch. McCutchen can score standing up, but he slides anyway. There was no throw. So the Pittsburgh lead now 3-0. Byrd stayed at first, and here's Russell Martin, who, like Byrd, left the yard in the second. Ran it inside and missed 1-0.
That was a good at-bat by Alvarez. The maturation of Pedro Alvarez. In the past, he was an easy strikeout victim in a lot of those instances, but able to look in and get enough of that ball to center field.
Well, the Pirates have not been really good at getting a runner in from third with less than 2 outs. but he's turned out to be a really good RBI guy and just used the center of the field and hit a fly ball to center. You don't need much with McCutcheon's speed.
Ball and a strike to Martin. Pirates with 1 on, 1 in, 2 down. In the hole, Cozart knocks it down, no play.
I don't want to jump out there and say that this is a hit yet.
Excellent point.
But it's a diving play in the hole. Almost makes a play. It would have been a tough play to throw from his knee. But he keeps the ball in the infield. It's a couple of tough chances.
They're at first and second with 2 out for Clint Barmes.
Barmes asked for time. Joe West did not give it to him. He made out, though. Ball 1.
You guys played for a long time, but I doubt that either of you has ever had an injury that was sustained this way. 2005, broke his collarbone because he fell while carrying deer meat up the stairs of his apartment. Ball and a strike.
I did that back in 80.
Get away.
6. I played through it.
Well, we know that.
It endangered the streak. I can't have this end because of deer meat.
That is an odd injury, isn't it?
Fouled off. Barmes played for Clint Hurdle in Colorado.
Well, at the time, he was having one of the great months to start the season. Batting in the 350s. Hasn't found that offensive stroke, but he's been an outstanding defensive player for these Pirates.
Yeah, he can pick it in many different positions. We've seen some of the tough plays tonight made look really easy.
One-two to Barmes. Right back up the middle. Phillips had him played perfectly, gets the force, and that does it for the Pirates in the 3rd, but they add to the lead. 3 innings in the books. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Budweiser is the official beer of Major League Baseball and presenting sponsor of this National League Wild Card game. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Tonight's Budweiser walk-off. Shin-Soo Choo with a walk-off single on September 23rd that clinched the Reds a spot in the postseason for the 2nd straight year. And Choo will lead it off here in the 4th. First time through for Liriano. Pretty darn impressive. 2 strikeouts and 7 groundouts.
That hit by Choo that we showed last time the Reds won a ball game. Lost 5 straight coming down the stretch, 3 to these Pittsburgh Pirates.
So the second time around is when the hitters start making adjustments here. I think the left-handers have to start diving out to try to take that slider away. Don't try to pull it. Hit that same ball to left center field.
Surprise, surprise. Shin-Soo Choo hit by a pitch. He got hit 26 times in the regular season, most in baseball. He had 81 in his career, and he took that one like on the
elbow.
Yep.
Well, ironically, we talked about that's the 29th time between these two teams that someone's been hit. Francisco Liriano did not hit anyone in the regular season.
That could have been a combination of both. He sensed that he was going to go out there and make the adjustment, dive out over the plate. I'm going to cut you off inside.
So here's Ryan Ludwig, who grounded out to short his first time. That ball's hit right on the button. First hit of the night for Cincinnati, and they're at first and second. Marte came up quickly firing and held Choo at second. So 2 on and nobody out. And the tying run comes to the plate in the person of Joey Votto, who had 24 home runs and knocked in 73 runs in 2013. He grounded to first his first time. 0-1. A lot of discussion about his production this year, coming off knee surgery last year. Played in all 162 games, which was huge for him to kind of say, look, I'm over that. But his 73 runs batted in caused for concern to some, and he was, he's kind of miffed. He said, like, everybody's jumping on the negatives rather than the positives I had this year.
The positives being that he's on base all the time, set a record, a Reds record. The thing that's interesting when you hear Joey Votto, who's a very intelligent hitter, when he talks about going out of the strike zone, he says, I get less and less pitches to hit. I'm not going to go after a pitch that's out of the strike zone to hit a ground ball to score a run. To some it seems selfish. To him it seems natural.
No balls and 2 strikes. 1 down here in the 4th.
Pitch, it's a little slider, a better one down in the strike zone, and then this one he really curves, starts it on the plate, and none of those pitches to strikes to a guy that led the National League in walks.
But they look like strikes.
They do.
When they come up there, and that's that nasty slider that Dusty was talking about, that you got to be able to lay off of that, but it's not so easy. He doesn't swing at any bad pitches. That shows you how good Liriano's slider is.
Brandon Phillips knocked in 103 runs this season. Got 2 runners on, and that was inside. Martin with a nice play.
That was a tremendous play. I don't know how he got that.
It had to be from growing up in Montreal and watching hockey goalies, because that's the closest thing that came to that glove save and a beauty.
I would say it looks, he had a shortstop. He had shortstop in his background, didn't he?
That's right.
It almost looks like sidestepping a line drive there for a minute and catching it off to the side.
He and Joe West had a little chuckle over that one. Phillips waits on a 1-0 as the runners lead from first and second. Phillips grounded to second his first time, playing for the first time since he fouled that ball off his left shin on Saturday. Sat out Sunday's game, ready to go here in the wild card game.
Well, we had a saying, you want the right guy at the plate at the right time. Phillips, 9 for 17 with runners in scoring position versus Pittsburgh. He's the right guy at the right time for them.
In the air behind first. Walker calls and makes the play just in fair territory for the second out. So Liriano retires the guy who knocked in 103 runs, and now he's got Jay Bruce, who knocked in 109.
Walker went pretty deep into the right field to make that play. It's an easier play for him, and interestingly enough, umpires no infield fly rule on that pop-up to Walker.
With Bruce up and with runners on, the shift not as drastic as it was the first time. You see the shortstop Barma still cheating him way over toward the bag. But his first time up, there were 3 infielders on the right side. Chu at second, Ludwig at first, 2 down. And Bruce comes up empty, 1-1. What was it you said as we came on the air tonight, Ron? You said what Dusty Baker doesn't want his guys to do is swing at the
dirt ball. That's what Dusty called it. See the outfield. Marte's got a strong arm, McCutchen a strong arm, and Marlon Burge probably had his best year defensively throwing out base runners.
1-1. Goes the other way, base hit into left. Chu around third, and he will score. The Reds on the board. on a 2-out single by Jay Bruce.
After a steady dose of sliders, it looked like he tried to sneak a fastball by, and he was waiting longer looking for the slider and still able to line the ball to the opposite field. Big RBI hit.
Now here's Todd Frazier. Downstairs, 1-0.
You can almost watch Frazier there. He's saying, get the ball up. Don't swing at anything down in the strike zone.
A lot of hitters talk to themselves. I was one. You kind of tell them to calm yourself, stay back, see the ball, and don't get too anxious.
He had a good cut at that. He's taken Liriano deep twice this year. Rounded out to short his first time.
First time he got a steady diet of sliders inside and then finished them off with a couple change-ups away and looked like he was anticipating that ball inside. I can see the slider being a long ball for Frazier.
1-1. That ball's hit to left. And pretty well, Marte is over, and it is a foul ball. 40,000 holding their breath here at PNC Park.
Because if it doesn't break and it doesn't get down, he pulls his hands in really nicely and keeps this ball fair a long time. Didn't have a real big hook to it, but at the end, didn't quite hang on to the pole. So either fastball up or change up away now. Change up away.
Ball gets away, and Martin completes the strikeout. 4th K of the night for Liriano. The Reds get on the board. It's 3-1. Follow the MLB postseason on TBS wherever you go with postseason.tv. Get alternate camera angles and live batting practice, real-time highlights, and more on desktop and mobile devices. Get postseason.tv now for just $4.99 at MLB.com. Francisco Liriano going to lead it off in the bottom half of the 4th. Only had 3 hits in the regular season, but singled up the middle in the 2nd in his first trip.
So his batting average doesn't look so good in the regular season, but looks pretty good right now in the postseason.
Nobody can get him out.
He's a postseason hitter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Rounded to first right down the line. Easy play for Votto. And that's 1 down here in the 4th. Moments ago, we spoke with Reds manager Dusty Baker. Dusty, we saw you talking to Johnny Cueto in between innings after the Pirates had taken him deep a couple times. What was the essence of what you had to say to him?
Well, the essence was, hey, Johnny, you're the best, and you know how to pitch. And, you know, sometimes it looked like he was kind of in between on what to throw. And I said, hey, man, you make up your mind, you know, what you want to throw. And because Johnny Cueto is the best. He made a couple mistakes. They didn't miss him. So, you know, I'm hoping Johnny can settle down now and possibly take us through next inning. He's getting up there in pitches.
Hey, Dusty, how are you going to stop your guys from swinging at that dirt ball?
Well,
that slider down. It looked like he made a little bit of adjustment the second time around.
Well, that's true. And, you know, I just told him, hey, make him get the ball up. I mean, it's easier said than done. And if it's spinning from the, you know, from the hips down, you got to take it because it's going to be a ball by the time it gets into the zone. So, you know, we got to make him get the ball, you know, the ball up because most of the sliders are balls.
Our thanks to Dusty Baker for spending a couple minutes with us in between innings. And here's Starling Marte with 1 down. That's a bullet off the left field umpire Tim Timmons. And Marte standing at second. Boy, that was a bullet.
just a tracer, and tough for the umpire here. He's got to make the call, but at the same time try to get out of the way of the baseball, and Timmons couldn't.
I was wondering if he got blocked off from the other umpire, where he couldn't actually see the ball coming down the line.
That was just one of those tracers. It just chases you, and it's not going to be fun for Tim Timmons in the umpire's room after the game.
Well, the Pittsburgh fans have been serenading Johnny Cueto all night. And that will end here in the bottom half of the fourth as the Reds go to the pen. Tonight's MLB Wild Card game is presented by Budweiser. Playing for the right to meet the St. Louis Cardinals in the National League Division Series. The Reds and the Pirates, and the night over for Johnny Cueto. 7 hits allowed. 2 of those left the park. And a runner at second. Starling Marte belongs to him.
That's about as hard as you'll ever see Johnny Cueto hit. Sean Marshall coming in here to face the left-handed Neil Walker. Marshall's a guy that's been so important in that Cincinnati bullpen, but you see only 16 games this year. He was hurt, shoulder hurt, for most of the season. Fastball, big curveball is his weapon.
Normally when you have a left-handed specialist, you have normally an arm angle that they drop down on a little bit, but his high curveball is really sharp and breaks really big.
Of course, coming in to face Walker, who's a switch hitter.
Marshall with a couple of trips to the DL this year on with the shoulder issues. Came back in mid-September. On the season, just 10 1/3 innings pitched. Has struck out 10 and walked 2. But last year in the NLDS against the San Francisco Giants, he was very effective. 4 innings pitched, no runs, no hits, and 3 Ks. There's Marte with great wheels at second. And here's Neil Walker. They're trying to chant Marshall. Marshall doesn't have exactly the same ring as Cueto, and not exactly the same enthusiasm either at this point.
You won't find many pitchers that throw their fastball less than Sean Marshall. He is a breaking ball pitcher. That's where he earns his chops.
That's an odd split. 30% fastballs, 70% curveballs. That stood the reason that that was going to be a curveball. And probably this one too.
Well, just like Liriano for the Pirates, if you're the Pirates hitters against Marshall, you want him to get the ball up as well.
Walker's 0 for 2, line to left, and then Todd Frazier made a great play. Or actually, Frazier did catch a foul pop-up. The great play he made was off Morneau as he leaned into the camera well over there. Waiting on a 2-0 from Sean Marshall. Hannigan kept that ball in front and kept Marte at second.
Well, there's nothing that irritates managers more than when they bring in a reliever and they go 3-0 on the verge of walking Walker. Hannigan just gets a glove on it, but it bounces the right way, so Marte can't advance. Dusty brought Marshall in because Walker's 0 for 8 from the right side against Marshall.
There's a strike, 3-1. Liriano led off the inning, grounding to first. Marte hit a bullet down the line that ricocheted off the left field umpire, Tim Timmons. So he's at second. Walker ahead in the count, 3-1. That ball almost got Craig Sager. In fact, Craig has the ball. How about that? There's got to be a young, deserving fan down there somewhere, or else we'll see that back at the hotel, and Craig will say, "Hey, got this foul ball from the wild card game."
Sags, future on eBay maybe for that ball.
Do a payoff pitch now to Walker. Hit sharply, but way foul. PNC Park holds 39,000 plus. They got standing room only. And out in left field, the walkways out there are just absolutely packed with standing room only on a long-awaited night in Pittsburgh. The 3-2. Well hit, left center field, back toward that wall and off the wall. Marte can cruise in to score the 4th Pittsburgh run. Walker with a stand-up double.
Neil Walker looked at, for this breaking ball, he got a steady diet of curveballs with a 3-2 count. Laid back on that one and drove it off the wall to left center field.
Marshall had fallen behind 3-0, battled back to a full count, and then Walker unloaded. So the Pirates with 4 runs on the board, and why that's significant when you look at their numbers from the regular season. When they score 4 or more, 69 and 17 as they put McCutchen on. When they score 3 or fewer, 25 and 51. So McCutchen, who walked in the first and singled and scored in the third, draws the intentional pass here in the 4th.
Doesn't make the fans happy when you pitch around Andrew, but it's a good strategy. And many times going into a game, you'll tell yourself, I don't want certain people to beat me. In this situation with first base being open, it's the logical move to make.
Well, after those 3 losses last year to San Francisco in their home stadium, a lot more headaches here in the postseason so far in this game for Dusty Baker and Brian Price, the pitching coach.
Gave you those numbers about the Pirates when they score 4 or more or 3 or less, and also along those lines when they lead by 3 or more, they're 55 and 4. The lead right now is 3, 4-1, and they may not be finished here in the 4th. Morneau waits on Marshall. Morneau lined to right his first time, and when he fouled it off near the dugout, Todd Frazier made the nice leaning catch. Fell over the railing in the 3rd. Nibbled at the corner and missed. The ball and a strike. Close the book on Johnny Cueto. 4 runs, 3 earned, 7 hits in 3 1/3. Not what Dusty Baker envisioned from the guy, as he told us in the interview between innings, you're the best. And it was not his best work tonight.
I think everybody had a little concern. He hadn't pitched a whole lot. Command usually is the issue when you don't get a chance to get into a groove. The last time out, he threw the ball really well, had good command. Looked like he fought with his command up in the strike zone a little bit more tonight.
Breaking pitch misses. 3-1.
Trying to tease him and tantalize him with that breaking ball, but great eye so far by Morneau.
So do you look for a 3-1 breaking ball here?
Tough to look for a breaking ball.
As much as he has confidence in throwing it. It's not the big hook, it's a smaller version of the breaking ball.
Although you would think that the one place you could cheat, if you're Morneau, is the outside part of the plate. That's where the pitches are going to be, whether it's a breaking ball or the occasional fastball from Marshall.
Another full count for the Reds reliever. Last time, Walker doubled off the wall on a 3-2 pitch.
I wonder if the percentage has gone up from 30% fastballs to 70% breaking balls, because there's one after another after another. If he's going to get beat, he's going to get beat on his breaking ball.
Clint Hurdle telling his guys it's all about grit when it comes down to this game. And determination and perseverance. That you got to adapt and improvise and overcome. In the air to left, and that's going to drift out of play. And we'll do it again. Neil Walker with the lead at second. Zach Cozart trying to keep him close. McCutchen the runner at first, and Morneau the hitter. Payoff pitch. And he just did foul tip it.
Back to 3-2 fastball surprised you, surprised me, surprised Morneau. He barely had a swing, very late swing on that.
I think it surprised Hannigan also.
Talked about Clint Hurdle, and he has this daily regimen where he sends out messages over email to a long list of folks, and today's was grit is passion and perseverance for every long-term goal. Grit is having stamina, sticking with your future day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. The daily encouragement that is very well read and grabs him from various places, and that was today's message. And that was a gritty at bat by Morneau, and they're loaded. And for the second time here in the fourth, Dusty Baker makes his way to the mound. And for the second time this inning, he goes to the pen. The Pirates have the lead 4-1, trying to deliver a haymaker to Cincinnati.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh, where the Pirates have the bases loaded in the bottom of the fourth inning. To celebrate the Pirates' first postseason berth in 21 years, Neil Walker gifted each of his teammates an engraved bottle of Johnny Walker Blue, a special blend created to celebrate once-in-a-lifetime moments. Walker said, "We're pleased, but we're not satisfied. We need to keep walking." And when this game is over, we're not done. Be sure to join us for the postseason show on TBS, brought to you by Johnny Walker.
Imagine that. Imagine that, Craig. It's back here at PNC Park, bases loaded with one out in the bottom of the fourth for the Pirates. They lead by 3 and are threatening for more as J.J. Hoover takes the mound as the third Cincinnati pitcher.
Well, led the team in appearances, had a 26 and a third scoreless inning streak during the year.
Throws it by Bird, 0-1.
But interestingly enough, right here with the bases loaded, opposition has been 6 for 11 with 3 slams this year with the bases loaded off Hoover.
Bird homered in the second in his first ever postseason at bat. Breaks his bat, grounder to second, bobbled by Phillips, gets the force, but the run scores. And there was an opportunity to get out of that inning. Brandon Phillips uncharacteristically bobbles the routine grounder.
Well, it appears to be a routine grounder, but it looks like it pops up on him right at the end. But yeah, it looks like the perfect double play ball, and you get used to Brandon Phillips making that play every single time.
So now it's 5-1. And here's Pedro Alvarez. He's knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly, and now time called.
Time called there by Ryan Hanigan. He made the call with the pitches. Hoover agreed with the call, and then Hanigan stopped it. He wants to change.
5-5.
Breaking pitch, backdoored it. 0-1. McCutcheon's the runner at third. Bird at first. And Hoover trying to limit the damage with 2 down. Hit right on the button, but right at Cozart, who takes it himself. And that retires the side, but not before the Pirates add to the lead. They score 2, and it's 5-1. Back here in Pittsburgh, top half of the 5th inning. Pirates leading the wild card game 5-1 over the Reds. Zach Cozart rounded out his first time and leads it off here in the 5th. Francisco Liriano working with a 4-run lead. Liriano retired the first 9 he faced. Then he hit Chu with a pitch in the 4th. Ludwig singled. Bruce eventually singled with 2 out to plate the only Cincinnati run. That's fouled off out of play. Stays 1-2.
This Chu is going to be one of the more popular free agents on the market, but has said publicly that he'd like to stay in Cincinnati. Why wouldn't you at that ballpark? Great hitter's park.
Ran it inside and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Look at that graphic, and the Reds didn't get a ball out of the infield in those first 3 innings. They have but 2 hits.
Derek Robinson getting ready. Be a pinch hitter for Hoover here in this inning.
And Liriano loses him. Lead-off walk in the 5th. Moments ago, we talked with Pirates skipper Clint Hurdle. You talked about the fact that you talked to your guys about grit, and you've seen some gritty at-bats in this game, and you've seen Marlon Byrd in his first postseason game just deliver and get you guys on the board.
Yeah, it's great to get that swing early. Birdie's done it since he's been here. Everybody put their spikes in there in the batter's box first time through, gave us good at-bats. We were able to add on a little bit, and Frankie's got a little momentum on the mound, so we got to just keep playing.
Liriano's had a long time to sit, but he's been awfully good so far, right?
He has been good. The sitting's not always bad. Ron, you know that. Means they're scoring runs. We'll see what he can get out here, reestablish some momentum, pound that strike zone, get after it.
Well, thanks to Clint Hurdle and Ron Miller. That's, I mean, the trade-off. You get your get a little pad to work with, even though you've been out there. It's different if it's a long inning and you guys don't score. There's a strike to Hannigan.
Well, not because he walked the leadoff hitter, but he came out. He didn't seem to be in the strike zone or finishing off his pitches quite as well. How much of a time frame is that? Do you lose your sweat? Do you have to come back out and get your sweat back again?
Yeah, that's kind of part of it, but you have such a good feel, and he did have a good feel, but sometimes you just lose it just a little bit for a short time, and then you try to get it back. So it looks like right now it's also the benefit of the Cincinnati Reds hitters, seeing him for the second time. They're starting to lay off that ball that's in the dirt.
You saw Martin go to his knees and make that block. Talked to him yesterday about the backstop, about the wall that's stone back there and kind of uneven. I said, "You ever get any crazy caroms off of that?" And he says, "The ball never gets by." In the air to right center field. Bird calls and makes the play. Well, Chris Heisey now has a bat. He'll pinch hit for Hoover. Cozart edges away from first. And Heisey takes a strike.
Heisey's up. He's got a couple of hits against Liriano and 3 at-bats with a home run. Dusty Baker trying to just sneak back in this game.
He's been a good pinch hitter through the years. Got some pop. Again, Martin goes to the knees to make the block.
Yeah, it just seems like to me that he's missing in the dirt a little bit more in the dirt now. Before, it was down enough to look like it's going to be a strike, a low strike. Now, the trajectory is actually getting down there early, easier for the hitters to lay off of. I would say less about deception on the pitchers. I think just more where he's not throwing it where he wants to.
I think he'd be a better choice would be to throw his fastball more. I think they're starting to sit on that breaking ball, making sure he gets it up in the strike zone. He'd be able to sneak a couple of pitching backwards fastballs past these Reds hitters.
Ball and a strike to Heisey. 2-1.
And there's the changeup. So he has a slider that goes in towards the righty and the changeup that goes away, roughly the same speed, which makes him really difficult. But if he's not right in the bottom of that strike zone, they're balls.
Three balls and 1 strike. He walked Cozart to start the inning before retiring Hannigan on the fly ball to right. And now he's behind 3-1.
He got that pitch a little bit early. Joe West called that high slider. That's right on a borderline.
That was a good job by Russell Martin. He kind of stole that strike from Liriano. Deft movement of the hand late to get it back in the strike zone.
The ability to handle pitching staff and critical pitches. 3-2. To third. Alvarez for 1 and to Morneau for 2. An inning-ending double play. Alvarez to Walker to Morneau. We're in the middle of the 5th. The upcoming schedule brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And tomorrow in Cleveland for the wild card game between the Rays and the Indians at 8 o'clock. Hit the air at 7 o'clock with the MLB postseason pregame with Keith Olbermann and the whole Hee-Haw gang, and then the postseason show after the game. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Pirates on top, 5-1. 5-8-0 for Pittsburgh, 1-2-1 for the Reds, and Alfredo Simon with a breaking pitch to Russell Martin for strike 1. Dusty Baker with 10 pitchers, and he's used 4 here in this wild card game.
That's right. Simon set a career high this year in wins and appearances. He was their long man.
Hit sharply but foul. 40,487 paid attendance tonight. Sellout, standing room only. Largest crowd ever here at PNC Park to watch the Pirates play. And as Cal points out, we should actually be counting all those folks standing on the Roberto Clemente Bridge as well, out there beyond center field. What a sight tonight. That's in the air to center, and it'll be easy for Chu. 1 down. It is such a great setting here. The ballpark just framed by the Allegheny River and the Roberto Clemente Bridge. And fans have been waiting all day. They closed that bridge to traffic this morning. Only foot traffic allowed. And you see the boats in the Allegheny there. And folks talk about how the ballpark just blends in with the surroundings here. But oftentimes, as there's a line drive to left for a 1-out single by Barmes, it looks like they built the city around the ballpark here.
That's right. Well, nice hitting by Barmes, gets on the base, allows Liriano with 1 out to put a bunt down.
Which he's done 5 times this year. Singled in the 2nd, grounded to first in the 4th. And Todd Frazier already creeping in at 3rd, anticipating the 1-out sacrifice bunt attempt by Liriano. 0-1.
Frazier is putting a lot of pressure coming down the line, coming in early. Liriano can see him. You got to be able to bunt this ball to the first base side to make sure you get him over, or wouldn't be a bad idea to try to slap it.
Liriano steps up. Now you're sounding like Smoltzy. John and I did the game on Sunday, and he said on more than one occasion, boy, if somebody's going to come down your throat like that, you've got to try to slap it past him.
Got to keep him honest.
Lays it down. Only play is to first. And Barmes moves to 2nd with 2 down.
Well, Simon's gone back and forth in his career as a starter and a reliever, and this year by far was his best. Uses that fastball early and often. He's got a good slider that he uses against right-handed hitters. He'll use that changeup occasionally against the left-handed hitters. Sinking fastball is what you're going to get from Simon.
Big-time swing and miss stuff. Faced the Braves on May 6th. Faced 6 hitters and struck them all out. And there's a strike to Marte. He's 2 out of 3 with a run scored. The Pirates stayed afloat when Marte went down. Had his hand stepped on by Martin Prado, missed a month. And the Pirates hardly missed a beat. in the air to center field. Chu with the routine play to end the inning in the 5th. A lot of ducks on the pond for the Pirates tonight. Not exactly like a duck on the Allegheny. The end of the game is just the start of the story. Unguarded with Rachel Nichols premieres Friday night, October 25th, 10:30 p.m. on CNN. When we move to the top half of the 6th, and here's the Reds' leadoff hitter, Shin-Soo Choo. He was hit by pitches 26 times in the regular season, got plunked in the 4th, and has scored the only Cincinnati run. And that sounds like a lot, 26 times. Then you think back in the day to Ron Hunt getting hit 50 times in one season. Ball and 2 strikes.
It never made any sense to me to stay there and get hit with the ball.
You're just a common sense guy, Cal.
I know you get on base, and yeah, sometimes you can take one for the team.
Tapper toward first. Liriano makes the play to Morneau for the first out. I thought that was going to be reminiscent of the play that David Price made last night in Tampa Bay's win at Texas.
Well, that's that in-between play that you practice in spring training. And really the only way it can be made is the pitcher's got to get to the baseball. If he doesn't, Morneau gets it and there's no transfer. He's not going to get there in time with the speed of Chu.
Yeah, it's a great discipline by the first baseman to recognize he's the only one that can cover first base. So if you have a second baseman, you know, that defends a bunt, a push bunt over there or a drag bunt by a left-hander, he can make that play also, but it has to be the pitcher or the second baseman.
One down now for Ryan Ludwig. Neil Walker, the second baseman, shading him over towards short. Had a big cut. Nothing to show for it, 0-1. Well, the move to get Francisco Liriano on this ball club certainly paying dividends. 16-8 in the regular season and leading here in the 6th inning tonight. Ran it inside, and this from a guy, they had the deal in place back around Christmas. Going to be a 2-year deal that they were going to sign him for $12.75 million. And then he's home in the Dominican Republic on Christmas Day, and he's kind of messing around with the kids. He wants to scare them and slams his right hand against a door and breaks his forearm. Thankfully, it was the right
forearm.
But then they sign him to a year with $1 million guaranteed and then some incentives and an option by the club for next year, which would appear to be a no-brainer at this point. Tailing away in the gap. And McCutchen cannot flag it down. That ball is on the track. And it's a double for Ludwig. McCutchen slow to get up out there. Shaking it off. He had a long way to go and darn near hauled it in.
Well, Ludwig's been on Liriano, but best closing speed in baseball. McCutchen, when that ball was hit, looked like a sure double, and he almost made the play.
I thought Marlon Byrd did a nice job of catching it and getting back to the infield to prevent a potential triple.
So with 1 out, runner at second in a 5-1 game, and here's Joey Votto. Talked about Votto and leading the National League in on-base percentage. He reached by hit, walk, or hit by pitch 316 times this year, broke the record held by Pete Rose for the Reds franchise of 311. He also walked 135 times, which is the most since Barry Bonds was walked 224 times.
You know, get back to the argument or the debate about should he expand the zone a little bit more and try to swing and hit and drive in more runs. From my own personal experience, when you start to expand the zone, then you get outside of how you hit. And the concept is, yeah, maybe you want your bat in the lineup a little bit more, but I think he's doing the right thing. You know, if they're going to walk you or they're going to not give you good pitches to hit, the secret to hitting is getting a good pitch. So I'm on his side more, not wanting him. It doesn't seem to be selfish to me. He's doing his job. He's actually turning it over to the next hitter in many cases.
The 1-2. Votto goes down swinging for the second time tonight. 2 down here in the 6th.
Although he's been confused by Liriano so far. He's swinging at everything his last at bat, not on that first pitch, gets to 1-1. All he's seeing is sliders from Liriano. Really hasn't had to go to a different pitch.
And again, his slider's not just good against the Reds lefties, it's against everybody's lefties.
And with 2 down, it's up to Brandon Phillips, who's 0 for 2. Has grounded to second and popped to second. And here's another roller to second. And an easy play for Walker. 6 innings down for Liriano. It's been his night so far. Back here at PNC Park, bottom half of the 6th inning. Pirates lead the National League wild card game 5-1 over the Reds. Neil Walker has a double, a run batted in and a run scored. Alfredo Simon into the line. Walker very popular in these parts. Played his high school ball at Pine Richard in Gibsonia. Big football star. And he hits this ball down the line in right, but foul.
He had a nice power surge at the end of the season. I think he had a career high 16 home runs. Quite a number of them in the last couple weeks.
He had 16 this year, had 14 last year, all from the left side.
When that ball hits a night, he's a home run in many ballparks. And he hit that one from the right side.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Pirates with 2 in the second on home runs by Bird and Martin. Scored 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. And that's after the Reds had cut the gap to 3-1. And he answered with those 2 in the 4th. And Walker was right in the middle of that.
These are the kind of innings as an offense you're trying to put the Reds away. You've got your 2, 3, 4 hitters up. A lot of power.
Truly a homegrown talent. You hear that term a lot when somebody comes up through the organization, drafted by the organization, but it takes on even new meaning when he grew up not far from here. That's a routine fly ball to right. That Bruce puts away for the first out of the 6th. Let us check in Atlanta with Keith Olbermann, KO. Thanks, Keith. Andrew McCutchen, the count of 0-1 against Simon. Now, how about the possibilities? How rich is that if Cleveland were to beat Tampa Bay and it's Tito Francona going to Boston to face his old Red Sox?
Oh, what a job Francona did all season long. Those two, the huge home run by Jason Giambi late against the Chicago White Sox and that comeback. Some unbelievable moments for that ball club.
The 0-2. McCutchen stays alive. He's walked, been intentionally walked, singled and scored, and his mom sang the national anthem.
Is that all?
That's a pretty full night right there.
I think he normally says he hits home runs on the nights that his mom sings the national anthem.
What's great about it is that 40,487 helped along.
Simon's got some good stuff.
It's good. Good breaking ball.
The slider he threw before that was about 92. That was a bigger breaking ball. Good command, good break.
Missed again, 2-2.
That's a hard slider.
McCutchen just got a world of talent. Growing up as an 8th grader, he played on the varsity high school team and led the county in hitting as an 8th grader. Ran the track 4x100 meters.
Look how relaxed he looks in the batter's box. Kind of rests that bat against his shoulder, waits for the pitcher to start, and then gets in that good hitting position.
He's had a great second half.
It wasn't the case in 2012 when the Pirates, it appeared, were going to break out of that streak of losing seasons and possibly make the playoffs, and then they finished 19-43 after leading the division. See the numbers last year, 31-96, and this season 21-84, but that bat wasn't too hot there in the second half last year.
31 home runs, that was a big year. I think he's probably more in the mid-20s. He has the power to hit the ball at the ballpark, but he also drives the ball to the gaps.
Well hit over third, base hit. Wide turn by McCutchen. He'll stay at first with a one-out single. Second hit of the night. He had 60 multi-hit games in the regular season.
What makes him so tough, 96-mile-an-hour fastball on the inside corner. He is just so quick inside.
Not much of a stride, pulls his hands in, hits it a little bit towards the label, but he has the ability to pull his hands in and get the barrel to the ball and hit it with authority down the third baseline.
Dusty Baker is going to join the meeting which just adjourned on the mound. Re-adjourn. Signaling for the left-hander. They've got Zach Duke and Manny Parra and Aroldis Chapman remaining lefties, and certainly not Chapman time. It's like Zach Duke coming on here in the 6th. Tonight's MLB Wild Card presented by Budweiser. Pirates and the Reds in the National League Wild Card game. And the Reds going to the pen once again. It's not Zach Duke, it's Manny Parra coming on.
Yeah, Manny Parra, who pitched for the Milwaukee Brewers, but he's found a home here in Cincinnati. His last 45 appearances, his ERA was under 2. Throws hard, big breaking ball, guy who can throw up to 95 miles an hour.
With the Brewers from 2007 to 2012, didn't pitch in 2011 after elbow surgery, and he's ready to go here in the 6th in a 5-1 game with a runner at first. That's Andrew McCutchen, and he'll face Justin Morneau. Morneau 0 for 2 with a walk. And he goes the other way, and that's a base hit to left. Morneau first pitch swinging, and the runners are at first and second with one out.
He goes up there looking to hit the first pitch. Ball's out over the plate. Stayed on it. Did a nice line drive to left field.
Ludwig was trying to size that up maybe for a dive and a great catch, but discretion, better part of valor there.
Especially in playoff baseball, you have to give what the pitcher gives you. Try to pull that, you roll over it, and it's a double play ball.
Here's Marlon Byrd, who got the scoring started in the 2nd. Homering in his first ever postseason at bat. They're at first and second with one out for him here in the 6th. You see the numbers against Manny Parra for Marlon Byrd.
I was just going to say that he gets the benefit of hitting between two lefties, and he gets to face a lefty, but now I'm not going to say it.
Nice restraint. Missed inside 2-0. We talked about the grit, the resiliency, and that kind of message from Clint Hurdle. Nobody epitomizes that more than Marlon Byrd. When he was in school at Georgia Tech, had that muscular condition, compartment syndrome, and doctors even discussed amputation of his leg. They were able to save it, but they had to remove the muscle. He had to relearn how to walk. Ball hit well to the gap in left center field, and Chu on the run makes the play. Runners retreat, 2 down.
Dusty's tried to touch and push the right buttons, but every time he brings in a left-handed reliever, that's the first out that they've gotten tonight. A couple of hits and a couple of base on balls.
Alvarez has a sacrifice fly to his credit tonight, looking for his first hit.
He's got all kinds of power.
McCutchen at second has all kind of speed. Morneau at first doesn't. Ball and a strike, and not many like that.
This is a dangerous pitch for Parra. Even though he got the strike on the outside corner, that ball is going to have to be out there if it's elevated.
I thought it was high and a little outside. Difference between hitting 2-0 right now and 1-1.
In the air over there by the Pirates dugout and out of play.
Got the benefit of hanging that too much. The backup breaking ball sometimes might be the best pitch in all baseball. If you're waiting for it to break more towards the middle of the plate, it stays in and ties you up.
Alvarez, the only Pirates position player without a hit tonight. 5 runs on 11 hits for Pittsburgh. Two and two.
Waste fastball there by Parra, and Hannigan with the call. They want to get him out with the breaking ball.
I always hated that expression, waste.
Waste.
There should be a purpose with all your pitches.
There you go. You're right.
And that was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Almost threw it to the backstop.
And Alvarez goes down swinging for out number 3 in the 6th. We head to the 7th. Pirates by 4.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Top half of the 7th inning, Jay Bruce leads it off against Francisco Liriano and takes a strike. 5-11-0 for Pittsburgh, 1-3-1 for Cincinnati. Winner moves on to take on the St. Louis Cardinals in the division series.
He definitely is going to have to hit a slider this time up. Try to sneak a fastball by him last time. Base hit to left field. It's going to be all sliders, I believe.
To first. Morneau will take it himself. 1 down. (69-5) when they lead after 6. Clint Hurdle's Pittsburgh Pirates. When you look back at this game, at this point, guys, the guy at the plate right now, Todd Frazier, that was a huge at bat in the 4th inning. Game was 3-1. He hits the ball with home run distance, just foul, and then strikes out with 2 on.
I mean, just foul. 3, 4, 5 feet foul.
And then the Pirates come back in their half and score twice. That ball is jacked pretty well. And off the wall in left center field. McCutchen plays it on the hop, and Frazier pulls into second with a stand-up double. We talked about the fact he's had some good swings on Liriano this year. And there's his first hit of the night.
And that was a fastball. Out over the plate, a little bit up. He definitely sees him very well.
He has the unorthodox style of letting go of the bat with one hand, but still has tremendous power.
Here's Zach Cozart. Rounded out and walked.
And Dusty was asked why his offense is struggling. He said, we cannot bunch hits together, and we're not hitting the ball out of the ballpark. That was their strength all season long.
5 for their last 40 with runners in scoring position, the Reds.
Yeah, when you're going good, you get those key 2-out base hits with guys on second base, and when you're not, you just can't drive in a run.
Kind of dries up, right?
Threw it past him, 2-1. Hurdle would love to see Liriano get through this inning. Sets up the way it has all year, except for when Grilli was hurt for a while. But Melanson, a great setup man. Jason Grilli, a great closer. Two and two.
Got the 2 talented young lefties. You have everything you'd want in that bullpen, backing up Liriano. Pitch count still low.
You know, with that bullpen, how long do you go? You saw Joe Madden stick with David Price last night all the way through. Thought he was going to be done after 7 as well. A little action in the bullpen.
That's Tony Watson. They've also got Justin Wilson, who brings you a nice easy 96. Martin smothered it. And the count full 3-2. Here's the pitch arsenal of Liriano. On the ground right at Barmes. Two down in the seventh. Thought the first ball Barmes has had hit right at him all night. He's been on the run, making plays. Major League Baseball and Boys and Girls Clubs of America committed to starting great futures. Go to greatfutures.org to find out more.
Liriano's gotten 20 outs in this game. 12 of them have come on the ground.
And he struck out 5. Ryan Hanigan fouls it back.
Those percentages struck me a little bit odd. I thought he had a few more fastballs mixed in, but mostly sliders and a lot of changeups.
Is there any other pitcher in baseball that can throw 95 that throws his fastball only a quarter of the time in a game? I can't name one.
Pretty good looking 94 miles an hour fastball.
40,487 thought it was a strike. Joe West thought otherwise.
I agree with Joe. I thought that was just a little in.
Two and one. Reds have Devin Mesoraco in the on-deck circle. The pinch hit here in the seventh. 2 outs. Runner at second. The Reds down 4. Two balls, 2 strikes, and a standing room only crowd. Only standing right now. Almost had him struck out, just foul tipped it. Martin couldn't hang on.
Just has not given in all day. Another slider just off the end of the bat from Hanigan.
Frazier is the runner at second. He doubled with 1 out. Hanigan with 2 down. Grounds it to third. Alvarez handles the hop. Throws across for the out. They are ready to stretch in Pittsburgh. And the Pirates lead it 5-1.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. This may be the Pirates' first postseason game in 21 years. But with me, a loyal employee who has seen 3 world championships for Pittsburgh. In fact, he's job since 1936. 95-year-old usher, Bill Cohen. And what do you think of tonight's game so far?
Oh, the crowd is great, and they always are great. But tonight is their night. You know, they're going crazy here, and we're just hoping and hoping that our score keeps up.
What keeps you going when most people your age have been retired for 30 years?
Well, I just get up in the morning and go for a walk and get ready to come to the ballpark and see all my people that are right here that are at my, you know, do with them and talk to them and all that.
Well, you're credit not only to Pittsburgh for the entire game of baseball. Will you be back next year?
I hope to, as long as the legs and the mind, as long as my mind don't take me to football field when I'm supposed to be at the baseball field.
All right, thanks a lot, Phil. Back up to you guys.
Thank you very much, Craig and Phil. And he was on the job in 1960 when Bill Mazeroski hit the World Series winning home run at Forbes Field and said that he was stationed behind the Yankees dugout. He was supposed to keep fans from going on the field, so I didn't even try.
They've had playoffs in 4 different ballparks now here in Pittsburgh. Exposition Park, Forbes Field, of course, Three Rivers, and here, PNC Park.
This is an absolute jewel. New battery for the Reds here in the 7th. Logan Andrusek on the mound and Devin Mesoraco behind the plate. That ball is absolutely launched into the Pittsburgh night, and Russell Martin has done it again. Second home run of the night for Russell Martin.
Yeah, I was just thinking power against power. Good fastball, 96. Russell Martin can turn around anyone's good fastball, and he's all over it.
The Pirates signed Martin as their prize free agent before the season because they liked his leadership, his ability to call a game, to help their pitchers, his toughness, and the occasional power. A lot of power tonight.
15 home runs in the season, 2 tonight in the wild card game. Varmus takes outside. When these teams played Saturday in Cincinnati, a lot more friendly home run park. Pittsburgh went deep 6 times. 5 off Bronson Arroyo. In the hole. Cozart, long throw to Votto, and just did get Varmus for the first out. Pirates with 3 home runs tonight. Here's the second by Martin.
Sitting next to John Buck, a late acquisition this season from the New York Mets. They've formed a nice team, coming up with the game plans for the Pittsburgh pitchers.
Martin doesn't let him catch much, though.
No, likes to play every day.
He likes to be in there all the time.
Travis Snyder is going to pinch hit for Francisco Liriano. That's a good night's work. 7 innings pitched by the Pirates starter. Snyder is with the Blue Jays last year, played 10 games with them, traded to the Pirates for Brad Lincoln. Played 50 games with the Pirates last season and 111 this year. Fouled off over there by the tarp, and it's 2-2. Great Big night for Liriano, allowing only 1 run.
Lost 1 time in this ballpark all season long. In his last 7, he was 5-0 with a 1.10 ERA, so he has saved the best for last.
And that 1 loss was against this club, Cincinnati. Meantime, his battery mate tonight, Russell Martin, with his 2 home run game. He'd only hit 2 home runs in his postseason play in 115 at bats before tonight. Fouled off by Snyder. Look out. Hits on the night for Pittsburgh. 3 of them have left the yard. And Snyder goes down swinging for out number 2 here in the 7th. Reliever Andrusek has the distinction of being the only right-hander in Reds history to win his first 7 decisions. 5-0 in 2010. Carried that over into 2011 with a couple wins.
It was a more challenging year this year, Ernie, though. He started in the minor leagues as one of the last cuts out of spring training, fought his way back, a couple of stints, and here now pitching in the postseason.
Here's Marte, top of the order. And he's 2 out of 4. Doubled in the 4th and scored. That was a big 4th inning to dodge the Frazier at bat in the top half and then answer with 2 of your own and pump up that lead. That made it 5-1 at the time, and now they've added 1 here in the 7th on the solo home run by Russell Martin.
Well, most managers have 1 spot that they kind of hang out in. Clint Hurdle has about 8 spots on that bench so far.
I think he's liked the view from wherever he's stood tonight.
Most teams I've been on, the players like to stay away from the manager. They sit in the other end of the dugout.
Tapped foul.
You know, when you look at this Pirates team with Alvarez at third base, you feel like he hasn't even tapped into his full potential yet. And this young man, Starling Marte, amazing athlete, and just learning how to be, you know, a great hitter.
He's got a nice combination of power and speed. We're seeing that a little bit more and more. Leadoff hitters can also hit home runs.
In the air to right center. And Bruce drifting over to make the play. That's the 3rd out in the 7th. But the Pirates add to the lead. And again, it's Russell Martin. 6-1. We move to the 8th in the National League wild card game. The Pirates at home leading 6-1 over the Reds. Tony Watson, the new pitcher in relief of Francisco Liriano.
Well, Tony Watson makes it look easy. He's got a beautiful motion. Ball just explodes out of his hand. Ended the season this year with 21 straight scoreless appearances.
Strike to Devin Mesoraco.
You know, we were thinking before with a 6-1 lead, maybe you go to Melanson, to Grilli, but maybe you want to get some of these young left-handers into the ball game to get them a little experience before you hopefully move on.
Busted him inside, 1-2.
It's always good to get their feet wet because you don't know what it feels like until you're out there. Somebody can tell you about it, they can talk about it, but until you're out there in the field in the postseason, you don't know what it feels like.
Shatters that bat. Boy, he saw him off. 1 and 2. Might be enough pieces of that to go around. Everybody in the section gets a little bit of it.
Well, the bullpen has been so important for the Pirates all season long. Second most innings pitched in the National League, 545 2/3. Compare that. It's almost 75 more innings than the Cincinnati bullpen threw.
Fouled off at the plate. Count stays 1 and 2.
Normally that's not a good formula.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you need to have your starters log in more innings. But with this bullpen and the depth in their bullpen, Clint Hurdle definitely has the choice to go there frequently.
Both of these teams, the Pirates and the Reds in the regular season, among the league leaders in team ERA and opponents' batting average against. Mesoraco battling Watson here in the 8th. You hear the "Let's Go Bucks" chant. It's October 1st. They're calling it Bucktober here in Pittsburgh. Not unlike when Clint Hurdle was in Colorado and it was Rocktober. Just a little blooper on the infield. Walker grabs it for the first out. MLB Network is your home for 2 division series games. Friday, see the winner of this wild card game take on the Cardinals in Game 2 of the NLDS. Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, noon Central, exclusively on MLB Network. Where if you're lucky, you can catch Cal Ripken's brother. Like watching Billy on a nightly basis on MLB Network. Do a great job over there.
Billy's always,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Billy's always the outgoing one, and funny, but people are starting to really understand how much he knows about baseball.
Yeah.
Chu has scored the only Cincinnati run. He was hit by a pitch in the 4th and then scored on a 2-out single by Jay Bruce. Dusty Baker's guys have had trouble with runners in scoring position. And here in the 8th, nobody on for Chu.
That's a nasty fastball.
Such an effective pitch against left-handers if you're left-handed and you can crowd them with that fastball.
They're going back in there again. One more time.
Just did get a piece. Stays 2 and 2.
That's the art of pitch calling, you know, to understand what's happening each pitch. What's the reaction to the hitter? He's not getting the bat head back to the ball. He's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that sinks a little in. Russell Martin has gone back in 3 times with that fastball. Now he's changing it to a breaking ball.
Hit pretty well to right. Back toward that wall and into the first row. And that's going to be a home run. They threw it in, but that ball reached the first row. They didn't reach over. And that's a solo shot for Chu.
Interesting that Chu, as he goes to the dugout, Marlon Byrd coming over to talk to the right field umpire. See the fan. So one of the things here at this ballpark, fans can reach over. It's whether he was in play or not. One guy who wasn't catching it is waving it off, saying it wasn't going to be a home run.
It's a very difficult angle from the ones we've seen.
What you have out there in right field, and it's no accident that it's a 21-foot right field wall in honor of Roberto Clemente, number 21. But it's easy access if you're in the first row there. And now the crew is going to talk about it.
And this guy will be ostracized immediately. And as it is in today's game, they'll go and take a look at it. That's one of those that if it was called a double or a home run, both would be hard to change. It's been called a home run on the field. It's going to be awfully hard for them to change that.
And they'll look at every angle they can of this. I don't.
It's as close as close can be.
Really, originally I thought it was a home run. I didn't think he really reached over, but now you're trying to see if.
Well, he's definitely reached over, but is that ball on a trajectory to cover that 21-foot high fence? That's the $64,000 question.
And here's a guy who said, the last thing I really wanted tonight was to be on TV in the 8th inning with just a shot of me and my reaction to a ball hit by Shin-Soo Choo, which may have made the score 6-2. Umpires will confer.
This is our last year for this until it changes. Home run calls, fair or foul, over the fence, fan interference, and clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call. I don't know if you got that from the shots we've seen.
This is interesting right here to look at the umpire's positioning. One down the right field line. I think part of his job, in my opinion, and this just might be mine, is to be down there to see that sort of play. Not worry about calling the home run down the line. I'd like to see them further down. Plus, also, because no one was on base, there was an umpire in shallow center field that I think ultimately made that call. That changes when people get on base.
And I think you can hear from the collective groan from 40,000 here that upon further review, that is a home run for Choo. And the game is 6-2.
Well, clear and convincing evidence. By that trajectory, you can't tell whether it's going to hit the top of the fence or not. And it's ruled a home run on the field, and it stands.
So able to use replay to decide that. You saw the game in Texas last night, and you could not use replay on the trapped ball in center field. Anytime that guy's cell phone is about to explode. There's Ryan Ludwig.
Tony Watson all season long against left-handed hitters. No home runs. So it happens to him in the postseason.
I think you go back to the pitch selection, though. We were talking about getting that fastball in. He tried to trick him with the breaker ball and left it over the plate. It happened to be right on the right speed for a home run.
Inside to Ludwig, who's 2 out of 3. He goes the other way, and that ball is fair down the right field line. And a fan is going to touch that. Ludwig at second with his 3rd hit of the night.
Well, good pitch by Watson, just off the end of the bat and dunked into right field by Ludwig. You know, when you haven't had postseason baseball in 21 years, you all want to participate.
I'd want a ball down there too.
Reds trying to get something going here in the 8th. Only 1 out. 1 run in. It's a 4-run game. Runner in scoring position for Joey Votto. Votto's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. To first. Morneau takes it himself. Ludwig to third, but now 2 down. An 0 for 4 night for Joey Votto. And now here's Brandon Phillips, who's 0 for 3. Two ground outs to second and a pop out to second. Reds on the night. 1 out of 9 with runners in scoring position. They've got Ludwig at third and Phillips at the plate. Count even at a ball and a strike.
Phillips only has 1 hit against Watson, but it's a home run. The Reds just looking for that one swing of the bat to try to get them back in this game.
Got the call. The ball and 2 strikes.
Pitch Tracks agrees with Brandon. That ball was inside.
To first, easy for Morneau. Cincinnati scores on the Chu home run, but they still trail by 4 as we go to the bottom half of the 8th. Tonight's MLB Wild Card is presented by Budweiser. Appreciate you spending your evening with us here on TBS. Ernie Johnson, Cal Ripken Jr., Ron Darling. As the Pittsburgh Pirates come to the plate leading 6-2 in the bottom half of the 8th. It's over for the loser. It's on to St. Louis for the winner. Sam LeCure, now the 7th Cincinnati pitcher of the night.
You know, that's his career high in games this year for LeCure, who ended up being the setup man later in the season.
Tied up Neil Walker with that 0-1. Walker's got a double in 4 trips, scored a run, and knocked in a run. LeCure quickly ahead, 0-2. A.J. Burnett. Well, I'll tell you what, he has had a great year, just, and is always a guy with a little edge.
But he's really changed this season, his professional perception. He's become a leader for some of those young pitchers on that staff in Pittsburgh. You know, this is what I used to do. Don't do that.
First Pittsburgh right-hander with 200 strikeouts in a season. He was huge in that game Friday, first game of that weekend series. Whoever takes 2 out of 3 wins, and he shut down the Reds, and then Pittsburgh would sweep the series and earn the right to host this game tonight here at PNC Park. Andrew McCutchen waits on deck. Neil Walker behind 1 and 2.
Pretty good pitch there, Ron. Just missed from the inside.
Could have got that call. You know, looking at the end of the season, they had most of their sellouts for Pittsburgh came towards the end, 23 in all. They had to prepare some of these young players for tonight's craziness.
The intensity and the emotion that accompanied this game, and it was so bottled up the fans just couldn't wait until about 7:45 when they had something to cheer about. And it hasn't stopped.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle said as much about that, saying it's been pretty crazy here. And that kind of experience, that kind of atmosphere, you do learn something playing in that.
I've waited my whole life for this.
Ran into one of the workers here at PNC Park yesterday as the teams worked out, who said his son was born in November of '92, right after Sid Bream. Had no idea what playoff baseball was all about, but he gets a look tonight. Great play by Votto at first, but can't make the toss. Walker reaches. This is how it all ended in 1992 in Atlanta. Francisco Cabrera scores 2. Justice and Sid Bream, a 3-run ninth. Those are World Series tickets that never, well, they were never used, and there was never any way to use them. They were that close, up 2-0 going to the ninth. Here's McCutchen. To center. Plenty of room for Chu. And that's out number 1 here in the 8th.
So that was their last playoff game. And to clinch a playoff spot this year in Chicago, they had a Bird to McCutchen to Morneau to Martin play at the plate, where they were able to tag and get into the postseason. Fortunes have turned.
Clint Hurdle has talked about embracing this time and this breakthrough into the playoffs, and says he's been a changed man over the last 15 years. Rounded to third. There's 1. There's 2. Well, that shift was played absolutely perfectly. Todd Frazier was right there. That does it in the 8th. We head to the 9th. Pirates by 4. Longtime Pirates fan, the actor Michael Keaton, among those on their feet here as we move to the top half of the 9th inning. 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Well, see Grilly's season, unbelievable. Saved his first 25 for 25 save opportunities. Went on the DL with a forearm strain, but has come back as strong as ever.
He has been all over the map in his career, waiting for the chance to be a full-time closer, and it came this year. Strike to Bruce. 1-1. And that chance to close comes at the age of 36. Just outside, 2 balls and a strike. Giants signed him originally in '97, traded to the Marlins. Had Tommy John in 2002. Resurfaced with the White Sox in '04, then to Detroit, Colorado. That's where he had a conversation in the outfield before a game with Clint Hurdle as manager. and told him of his desire to be a closer. And it's come full circle. 3 infielders on the right side against Bruce. Two outs away.
Well, Grilli might not have the natural stuff of a Aroldis Chapman or Craig Kimbrell. Pitches with a changeup, slider, and fastball, but he pitches with great emotion.
Here's Todd Frazier. In the air to left. Marte. 2 down. In 2010, really destroyed his knee. His dad took a month off work so he could tend to his son, take him to the doctor, help him get in and out of the shower. His dad's a former major league pitcher. Jason got his first save this year. The ball went to his dad. Cozart at the plate. To second. That's it. The Pittsburgh Pirates are on their way to St. Louis in the National League Division Series. A playoff win in Pittsburgh for the first time since 1992. Let me complete the story on Grilli. You see him there. This year, Clint Hurdle had a father-son weekend at Wrigley Field in Chicago. You bring your dad on a road trip. Grilli brought his dad to Wrigley, and the day that they announced the All-Stars and Grilli was named, he walked to the outfield with his father at Wrigley Field, where there were tears and then a game of catch. Grilli calls it his field of dreams moment. And there may be more Hollywood-type stuff before it's all over for Pittsburgh. Phil Coyne has seen a lot, but like the rest, he's waited a long time to see this one. What a night for Pittsburgh. What a night for Russell Martin. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Russ, you're one of the few that have been in postseason games before on this Pirates team, but have you ever had a game like that? 2 home runs, great job catching, and this atmosphere?
Not in the postseason, that's for sure. I mean, the fans definitely brought the energy tonight. Francisco pitched an unbelievable game, and we were able to score some runs for him. It was just overall a great day for everybody in Pittsburgh.
Laureano is 8-1 in the regular season in this ballpark. What's working so well for him when he pitches here at home, particularly tonight?
Well, I think he just feels comfortable on this mound and in front of this crowd, but he just had all his pitches working. He had a good fastball. His slider was devastating. Excellent changeup.
Like I said, you've been to the postseason before. Explain what this atmosphere is like for you, especially right from the start, and now right here with everybody giving you a standing ovation.
This is 20 years of waiting, you know, and you're seeing it all come out in one night. Hopefully we can keep this atmosphere late until October. But, I mean, these fans are definitely giving us energy out there, and we appreciate them.
You go up against St. Louis now. You can celebrate tonight. But how do you feel about your guys' chances?
I mean, I like our chances. We played them tough all year long. We know they got a great club. We're going to have to bring our A game if we want to beat them. So we're going to have to bring our A game.
You had it tonight. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Back to you, Jay.
What they like to say here, Greg Brown, the play-by-play man for the Pirates, says, raise the Jolly Roger. And that's what they do here at PNC Park tonight, winning the National League wild card game. Clint Hurdle has said you got to embrace the moments, and sometimes you work so hard that you run right through those moments. I don't want to be that guy. A celebration here at PNC Park. Now 6-2 the final score. Russell Martin goes deep twice. Liriano brilliant. And for Marlon Byrd, waited 1,250 regular season games to get a taste of this. He's got his taste pretty darn sweet, Segs.
Well, thanks, EJ. Marlon Byrd, drafted in 1999, made your debut in 2002. As EJ said, waited 1,250 games to be in the postseason, and you homer in your first at bat. Take us through what it's like from the opening ceremonies when you announced that first time at bat.
Just amazing, trying to soak it all in. You know, better late than never. Finally got here, but it was the butterflies, the anticipation, you know, the adrenaline that was going. I tried to slow it down a little bit, and first at bat just let me calm down a lot after I got to put the good swing on the ball and hit it out. But it's just one of those things where you try to slow the game down, but it's tough, playoff atmosphere.
You didn't join this team until late August, but yet you fit in so well. You're such a catalyst down the stretch. Why is this such a great fit?
Oh, God, it's the team. It's the guys that are here. You know, they welcome me with open arms. You know, I just wanted to come in and be a piece of the puzzle, and that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly how they accepted me. So it's all about the guys. They made it easy for me.
Well, you got in the postseason. Now we need to get Hall of Famer Ernie Banks. He holds the all-time record for most games without being in the postseason at 2,528. Can you imagine that long drought?
I couldn't imagine. You know, Mr. Cub, you know, he deserved to be in the playoffs, but you know, I wish he could have experienced this because this is just an amazing feel.
Well, it's not one and done. You're going on to take on St. Louis.
We're going on. It gets tougher. You know, we got the Cardinals, which is one of the best teams in baseball, so we have a battle ahead of us.
Well, congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Back to you, EJ.
All right, thank you very much, Craig. Pittsburgh Pirates. Such a long, long wait and such a build-up before this game. And they win it 6-2. They're ready to celebrate. They got more work to do later this week, but tonight is about celebrating the first playoff win since '92.
Well, it was interesting to see McCutchen looking up to the skies. It wasn't a gift from heaven, but it must have felt like that for these Pittsburgh faithful. And I think the great thing about it is that both clubs came into this game from different directions. The Pittsburgh Pirates are playing on all cylinders coming in. The Reds really struggled. They struggled with their bats. And once Johnny Cueto couldn't really get the job done early with those home runs by Pittsburgh, they fell behind. And this 10th man that they had here, 40,000 strong, was just too much.
Yeah, I was going to comment on the 10th man is because there was all kinds of life and excitement here. And you're a little worried that they were going to actually go out there and try to do it for the fans too much. But they were very businesslike, and I think it all started with Liriano controlling the offense from Cincinnati, and then getting the early quick runs that made everybody relax. It was a perfect game if you're a Pittsburgh fan.
7 brilliant innings by Liriano. 3 home runs for the Pirates, and they're ready to unwind. Nobody here really in a hurry to leave of the 40,000 plus standing around soaking it in, and they'll be doing the same thing right there in that clubhouse here at PNC. TBS, your home for the Wild Card Division Series and exclusive home of the NLCS. Stay tuned for the postseason show on TBS presented by Johnny Walker. Remember to drink responsibly. See you later, everybody.